Hello again, and welcome to Retirement Coffee Talk with Charisse Rivers at Zinnia Wealth. Online, as always, zinniawealth.com. If it's time to talk about your retirement, let's get that conversation going. Don't put it off anymore. Let's do the math on your retirement. We'll talk a lot about that today. Charisse is here. How are you doing today?
I am doing great. How are you doing, Randy?
I am good. I understand you have a new nickname. It's Rambo Reese is your new nickname here. We get you all camoed up, and you've been out there paintballing. What's going on here?
Yeah, so my daughter and my son, we went paintballing over the weekend, last weekend, and we had about 10 of their friends come with us. They're all about 16, 17. Most of them are 17 years old. And I'm going to tell you, it lit a fire under me because you got a gun and you have a mask. And all you're doing is crawling in dirt, hiding in bunkers, in trees. I felt like I was in my 20s. And luckily, I'm super healthy right now. And I could keep up with these kids. But I'm going to tell you, I did not get hit the whole entire day.
Wow.
And I was knocking kids out like crazy. And it's terrible I'm saying that. I was at my most high competitive level you could catch me at. And there was no grace given to these children. Poor kids. They're probably talking to their parents like, there's something wrong with Miss Rivers. Like, she scared me. But I'm going to tell you, it was at Wayne's World here in Ocala. And I'm going to start going back because there's something about that competition, that level of the sweat. You're wearing two outfits just so you don't get bruised because it's pretty painful.
Yeah.
And at the very end, there was a duel, actually, because my daughter and I were on two different teams against each other. It was the very last one. And boy, that's when I did this front flip, rolled, found another bunker, and leaned over and tried to shoot her. Thought I got her, stuck my head out. She got the top of my head, like just flicked it. Thank God, because it was a little sore. But it was so much fun. But, when I was in college, I did a little paintballing competitions. I mean, this is years ago. And there was always doctors and lawyers at these competitions. And now I get it. I'm like, yeah, you just got to blow some steam off. But, poor kids. Like, I did not get any kids in the throat or the head. It'd be like in the shoulder or the arm or leg. But these kids probably went back to those parents. Those parents are never going to allow them to hang out with Miss Rivers again, because we had two kids that got hit in the throat and then one right in the forehead. The mask came down. It was bad. But anyways, it was fun. And I'm nearly 50, and I felt like I was 20, and I think I'm going to get back out there.
I think, I don't know if that's just for the kids or for the parents, because teenagers are a little frustrating when you're a parent, and to go out there and just pummel them with paintballs, that's just got to feel good at a certain point.
Yeah. And, Eli was the small guy in there on that team, and he wasn't even on my team. He should have been on my team, but he wasn't on my team. He was the small guy. And he won one of the challenges, which was amazing to me. He turned into this little sniper. He followed some directions, and then he snuck up. I was like, good job, buddy. So you just don't underestimate the little guy on the team.
There you go. I love it. You're listening to Retirement Coffee Talk with Charisse Rivers at Zinnia Wealth. Online, as always, zinniawealth.com. So we talked through some of the issues of retirement, and this is one of them. You save your whole life. You put money in a 401k, and you put money in all these different places, and you save so that you can spend some money in retirement, have some fun. But then as you get to retirement, here's what you read. Oh, watch your income, because your Social Security could get taxed. Watch out. Your income could be too high and your Medicare premiums could go up. You take money out of that 401k, there's capital gains. Or, you get to RMD age and you're going to get hammered with taxes. And then you wonder, did I do the right thing? Did I save for nothing here? So, Charisse, some of these things are
Nothing's free. Nothing's free.
Well,
Randy.
yeah, I get it. But some of these things might be a big deal. Some of them might not be. And, don't sweat the small stuff. Is some of this not something to be worried about here, Charisse? What should we worry about and what should we not worry about here?
Right. So I always say don't sweat the small stuff, but know the small stuff.
Okay.
Because if you don't know it before you go into it, then you're sweating it. And then you're just mad. You're like, I didn't know about this. I didn't know about this. And this is why life is always a journey, and how you navigate it matters, and who you go through it also matters. And in retirement, you want to go through retirement with somebody who's going to show you some hot spots that are going to take place if you take too much money out of your 401k. Because if you take too much money out of your 401k and you have income coming in from other sources, your Medicare Part B premium could go from $185 a month to $280 a month, all the way to $650 a month. So if you know the game ahead of time, there won't be any surprises. And if there's another strategy so that maybe we don't have to pull all those dollars out of the 401k because maybe you need some extra cash flow for whatever reason. Maybe there's other monies in a brokerage account or a Roth that could keep that extra fee away when it comes to those IRMA rules and Medicare. And then think about Social Security. A lot of people don't know that there's something called a provisional income formula that when your income's at a certain level, you're going to have to pay taxes up to 85% on your Social Security. And people are like, I got to pay on my way out. I paid through my FICA taxes my entire life. And so we have to talk about that, like how much of your Social Security is going to be taxable, because it's always a little bit of a surprise. And the other part of that is, do you take Social Security early at 62? Do you wait to 67, full retirement age, or you take it at 70? Because if you delay, you get more, right? But if you are considering some tax strategies, like one simple one, rolling IRAs over to a Roth, you don't want to have that double taxation because you're taking Social Security and rolling them over. So sometimes you just wait to roll it over. And as long as you live to 80, you're at a break-even point with Social Security if you take it, whether it's 62 or 70. So there's just rules, right? And we follow them. And then sometimes we have to break them because we just need the money. I think a lot of people who come in and see us, they've never even heard of an IRMA rule. They've sold a house and they're just like, yeah, I got hit with this silly IRMA rule and my Medicare Part B premium went up to $650. And so because our advisors don't understand it, most advisors don't go through the entire retirement puzzle, right? There's 5 parts and most advisors only focus on the one. They focus on the investment plan, which is important too, but we focus on the healthcare plan, the tax plan, the estate plan, the income plan, which is the most critical foundation. So that is what makes us different, especially as fiduciaries, because not even all fiduciaries are created equal. I mean, if you went to Fisher Investment and then you talked to them about taxes or Medicare, they'd be deer in the headlights. They're like, hit the road, Jack, right? And so all these things are really critical when it comes to retirement and penalties. And let's talk about the RMDs, Randy, your required minimum distributions. If you don't take it when you're supposed to take those dollars, you get another penalty. And so we don't want to run up against this gamut of not knowing. And this is why you want to work with a retirement planner who actually understands wealth management and all the tax rules and the government rules that could affect you so you can keep every dollar in your pocket.
So when you get to retirement, you start to see some of these limitations and some of these penalties and some of these things that happen. And you say to yourself, wow, if I want to have a nice retirement, I'm going to go over this number on Social Security. Well, maybe that's not the one that you really have to worry about. Maybe when you get to 73 or 75, when you start taking those RMDs and it puts you in another tax bracket, that's the one to really worry about. So let's sit down and figure out, kind of look down that telescope. And we're going to talk about that a little bit today, of looking far down the line, 10, 20 years from now, what's going to happen to me and my money. That is part of the retirement planning process, looking what's happening now and what's happening later and having a plan for all of it. Here's the number and here's the website for Charisse Rivers. It is ZinniaWealth.com, ZINNIA Wealth.com. There's a gold box on the website there, whether you're on your phone or you're on your computer, you're on your tablet. Just look for that gold box that says Complimentary Retirement Consultation. And when you click on that, you'll be able to make your appointment right there. Or you can give us a call. It's 833-368-3680. Again, 833-368-3680. Well, you don't even have to look at the political news to know that everybody's talking about how much it costs to live these days. The cost of living, affordability is a big word right now. And, you know, if you live in Florida, it is really an issue. I couldn't believe this when I read this. They were talking about the cost of living in Florida. And right now, if you live in Miami or Fort Lauderdale or Palm Beach, the cost of living there is roughly 5% higher than New York. Wow.
That's not surprising.
That is nuts. So people in our area, Charisse, are getting hit with rising HOA fees. They're getting utility bills that are higher than they've ever had before. Certainly, there's the price of gas and price of groceries, community assessments, all this stuff. People are moving down to Florida to retire, and the price is just continuing to go up. Have you had people come to you who you've worked with for a little while? They have a retirement plan, and then they get to be 71, 72, 73. They're into their retirement, and they come back and they go, Charisse, it is more expensive to live than what I thought. I need more money. So first, is that happening? And number two, what do you do about it? How do you approach that one?
Well, actually, I get it earlier in life. When people turn about 73 to 75, they actually are pulling back the reins, not traveling as much.
Okay.
So they don't actually need as much income outlay as we originally put together, which is normal. But it is earlier in retirement. It seems like about 3 to 5 years after retirement, they're like, hey, the costs have come up. I know we built in the income plan and inflation adjustable income, and we're getting more income every year. But now we have bought this house at the beach, or maybe Miami or Fort Lauderdale, because the costs are astronomical down there. Like, to have something down there is insane to me. I actually just had a client buy a place down there. Believe it or not, I couldn't even believe it. But they swore that it was going to be great Airbnb. They're going to Airbnb, and they were going to make a lot of money. So we had to shell out some money for that house as well for them. But most of our clients aren't really asking because they're automatically getting higher increases in income.
Okay.
Because of the nature of how we build out income plans and how our inflation adjustable income goes up every year to sometimes every couple of years. So it's kind of already built in, because we know inflation is going to hit people. We know the iPhones are going to cost more money. We know they're going to want to keep up with the Benjamins, and these things come up. So it's built in naturally. And some people don't even actually get more income because we're front loading it so much that it's actually more than they're asking for. So sometimes we'll wait for that inflation plan to kick in. And so it just depends on the plan. It depends on the person. It depends if we know they're going to buy a place on the beach or an Airbnb to get extra income so that they can also travel there. And I would say very few people are in that position. But I will tell you this much. We get so many people from Fort Lauderdale, Miami, West Palm moving to North and Central Florida because it is so much more cost effective to live up here, because those billionaires are pushing out the millionaires down there. And it's just getting very heavy in traffic. And so there's been a lot of changes over the years, but the prices keep going up. And a lot of people are leaving New York and they move to Florida and South Florida, and hence, hey, supply and demand, why the cost of living is so more expensive there than New York, because so many people don't want to be in New York now, especially after COVID. So we'll see those changes when things like that do take place.
Well, all right. You're listening to Retirement Coffee Talk with Charisse Rivers at Zinnia Wealth. And one of the things as you go through retirement, it's going to change. You know, you take a look at the last 20, 25 years. Okay. That's about what a retirement is. What has happened in the last 20, 25 years? Think about it financially. We've had, the subprime mortgage crisis, and we had COVID, and we had the tech wreck. We had all these crazy things happen. Yeah. Inflation went up to 9% and now back down to 3%. Look at what will happen in the next 25 years. That's what you're going to be dealing with when you go through retirement. That stuff's still going to happen. So you're going to need somebody to help you along the way. And that is why Charisse is here. Give her a call. Let's sit down and build that partnership that you're going to need as you go through your retirement years. Here's the number. It's 833-368-3680. Again, 833-368-3680. Online at ZinniaWealth.com. That's ZINNIA Wealth.com. There's a gold box there. It says complimentary retirement consultation. It's basically a no-cost meeting and no obligation meeting to sit down and say, what's on your mind? What are you concerned about? How can we help? 833-368-3680. Charisse, that is all the time that we have on this one. I will give you the last word.
Well, as usual, live by design and not by default. And we'll see you here next week.
Thanks for listening to the Retirement Coffee Talk podcast. If you have questions or would like to begin the process of building a tailored retirement plan, call Zinnia Wealth at 833-368-3680 or find us online at ZinniaWealth.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Zinnia Wealth Advisory, LLC, a registered investment advisor. The firm only conducts business in states where it is properly registered or is excluded from registration requirements. Registration is not an endorsement of the firm by securities regulators and does not mean the advisor has achieved a specific level of skill or ability. Insurance products are offered through Zinnia Wealth Management, LLC, Florida license L078655, and Charisse Rivers, Florida license P037744. Zinnia Wealth Advisory, LLC, and Zinnia Wealth Management, LLC are affiliated entities. The information presented is believed to be current. It should not be viewed as personalized investment advice. All expressions of opinion reflect the judgment of the presenter on the date of the podcast and are subject to change. The information presented is not an offer to buy or sell or a solicitation of any offer to buy or sell any of the securities discussed. You should consult with a professional advisor before implementing any of the strategies discussed. Any legal or tax information provided in this podcast is general in nature. Always consult an attorney or tax professional regarding your specific legal or tax situation. Any client experience discussed on this show are unique to that client. Annuity and life insurance guarantees are subject to the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. If you withdraw money from or surrender your contract within a certain time after investing, the insurance company may assess a surrender charge. Withdrawals may be subject to tax penalties and income taxes. Persons selling annuities or other insurance products receive compensation for these transactions. These commissions are separate and distinct from fees charged for advisory services. Insurance products also contain additional fees and expenses. Social Security rules and regulations are subject to change at any time. Always consult with your local Social Security office before acting upon any information provided herein. References to specific investments should not be construed as being past specific recommendations. The returns for various indices discussed in this podcast do not represent the performance of the firm or any of its advisory clients. Returns do not reflect the impact that advisory fees will have on an investment. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. All investment strategies have potential for profit or loss. Different types of investments involve higher and lower levels of risk. There is no guarantee that a specific investment strategy will be suitable or profitable for an investor's portfolio. Historical performance returns for investment indexes and/or categories usually do not deduct transaction and/or custodial charges or advisory fees, which would decrease historical performance results. There are no guarantees that a portfolio will match or outperform a specific benchmark. Investments in fixed income products are subject to liquidity risk, market risk, index rate risk, credit risk, inflation risk, purchasing power risk, and taxation risk. Because bond prices fluctuate continually, their yields change constantly.